Hey dudes, welcome to Splat from the Past, the only 80s themed horror and sci-fi show where things can get totally radical. Now today, I will be welcoming a legend in the world of kung fu and action films, a legend amongst legends, to say the least. I am talking about Mel Novak. Yes, Mel Novak, who you all know from the Bruce Lee classic Game of Death. He was also in so many great movies. The Ultimate Warrior, Steve McQueen's next to last movie, Tom Horn, the Chuck Norris classic, An Eye for an Eye, so many. And he is a minister of the Christian faith. And I want to get into that with him as well and talk about how, he got into that. He began as a baseball player, too. He was in the Pittsburgh Pirates in his early years. I want to find out how he transitioned from that to acting to the ministry, and it's going to be pretty interesting. Like I said, the guy's a legend. So yeah, here is my interview with Mel Novak. So welcome to the show. How are you today?
Well, thank you for having me. And listen, every day above the ground's a good day.
Mm-hmm.
The world is going crazy, but you do what you have to do and keep on praying.
Yeah, absolutely. This is such a great honor. Thank you for taking the time today.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome.
So going back in time, I know that your earliest passion was baseball. At what age did that start?
Well, actually, 3 years old, and when I was 18, graduated from high school, I had 60 scholarships for football, all at the major universities all over the country.
Mm-hmm.
And I had scholarships in basketball. Then I signed a pro baseball contract with the Pittsburgh Pirates, and that was my dream. Hometown boy, had great write-ups in the paper. One of them said, can't miss being a star unless he had an injury with his football background. We're not worried about that. Well, I had a major shoulder injury, rotator cuff, and they butchered me. I had an 18-inch scar. I was in a cast for 7 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
and I was a cripple for 5 years. That ended my baseball career.
Wow.
Scholarships are gone. Everything was gone. It was a very tough time in my life. I was just a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a tough time, but I've always been a fighter, and I never give up. And that doctor said I'd be crippled for the rest of my life. And I started in the YMCA, lifting up a pound, struggling. And by the time 5 years came, I overcame being crippled. And
wow.
I did go to that doctor's office, and I said, "Do you remember me?" He said, "Oh, I think so." I said, "You should, because what the things that you said were criminal. You never do that to a young kid. You told me I'd be crippled for the rest of my life to forget everything. How dare you?" And he says, "Well, you overcame it." No, we're not talking about what I did. Let's talk about what you did to a young kid. I cried all the way home from Oakland. It was in Pennsylvania,
Mm-hmm.
to where I lived. And I said, "Shame on you." So that that was the end of my baseball career.
God, I had a car accident 5 years ago. Doctor told me I was never going to walk again, and he was wrong.
Oh yeah, that's terrible. That's like a word curse.
Exactly.
And whatever happened to encouraging somebody, no matter what?
Yeah.
I mean, I've dealt with with people on Skid Row and prisons. I've had a ministry for over 38 years. You never rip somebody's whatever number or amount of confidence they have, rip them to shreds. I mean, it's horrible.
It is.
People are walking wounded and broken the way it is. And, boy, it's just frustrating.
It is.
People, the negativity. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. But how did transitioning into acting come about for you?
Well, I never came to California to be an actor or to be a minister. I wanted to get away from people who said you should have gone to college and taken those scholarships. You'd have probably been in pro ball today because I was a flanker who ran 100 yards in 9.6.
Wow.
I punted. I was a kicker and led the country in average. And I got tired of that. I got tired of people kicking me when I was down. And I said, you know what? I was talking to myself, before I kill someone or do something to them, I'm going to leave. And a friend of mine he and his wife had a couple of apartments.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, I met him in a training camp. We became friends. That's why. So I came to California. I got a job with an insurance company, and I still didn't think about acting.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the gals there, you know, I dress well. I always have suits and two-tone shoes. I'm old school.
Yeah.
That's why when I played gangsters in movies, I usually ask him, we got to use my wardrobe, not those cheap ones.
Yeah.
And, you know, one of the gals at that insurance company said, you look great in clothes. My cousin's a modeling agent. Would you like to meet her? I said, sure. And I started to do modeling, and then they wanted you to go to acting school for commercials. Well, I did that, and I took acting classes from some really super talented teachers. I learned camera technique in the Screen Actors Studio. Stacey Harris, Michael Pate, Biff Elliott.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I got very good at camera technique, and the cinematographers always loved that.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, I know what to do. And then I also, Stell Harmon, Corey Allen, remember he was the one in that James Dean movie.
Yeah, Rebel Without a Cause.
Huh?
Rebel Without a Cause.
Yeah, he went over the cliff. But he was just a wonderful teacher, and he became a director. He was a very good actor, but he became a director. And I learned, and I had a job at that insurance company, so I had a car,
Mm-hmm.
free car, money in my pocket, and I'm learning. And it took time, but that's all right. I was prepared. I don't believe in luck. Luck is when preparation meets opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And I had, I guess my first big role on television was Mannix.
Oh, yeah.
For the Hitman. And you know, from then on, most of my roles were villains. I became, you know, they wanted a good hitman or mafia. And
Mm-hmm.
so it started, when it started to move in a positive area. And I see when I tell actors when they come out here, you got to have either enough money for a year of rent, of rentals, also the car, Uber, or whatever you do, and for food. Otherwise, the pressure is too tough. I remember one time I was up in Burbank, ABC, CBS Studios, and I was in a suit. I had money in my pocket. I had a car out there. I had a beautiful blonde waiting for me. This guy, I'm going to read for a role, was sweating, and I says, "Yo, bro, I have some vitamin C's because I'm big on vitamins in the car. You want me to go get them?" "No, man, I got to get this part. My rent's overdue."
Yeah.
It's terrible, the pressure people put on themselves. So it just you got to use wisdom.
Certainly.
So when you do go on a reading, I haven't had to read for roles. I've done 3 movies a year for the last 6 or 7 years. I didn't have to read for any of them because I have a really big resume, and I've done a lot of major movies.
Right.
So I don't do it now, but I used to give acting lessons, privates, 2-hour minimum of teaching cold reading and camera technique. And it's so important to learn. People think, I'm going to come to Hollywood, I'm going to be a big star. Well, you don't know that. Even some big pictures, they don't do anything. I worked for major directors, and some of the pictures did well, and some didn't. You just don't know. But you have to use common sense. You can't be working for trying to get money for your rent, for your cell phone. It just doesn't work that way.
I know.
And all that pressure. The pressure is really bad.
Yeah. People just think, it's all you're doing is, talking in front of people, but there's so much more to it.
Oh, yeah. A lot of people, please. I remember doing one movie. I had a star role, and this actor, he looked like Peter Lorre, and had a long dialogue scene. And the first part of it, camera started way down, and then it went into a close-up on me. And I did all my dialogue perfect, and it came to him, and back and forth. And when he came to this one part, you could see it in his face. He froze. So the director says, "Okay, let's do it again." And we were filming in a library in this huge home in Pasadena. And the director looked, he says, "Here's a book right here, How to Act." So the guy says to me, "Who's he talking about?" I said, "Well, I haven't missed one line. Why is he doing this?" And then the pressure became worse. Every time we do it, we did it like the third time, the same thing. It comes to the one part and it frees. You can't do that because time is money on a film. You got to be prepared. You have to be ready.
Right.
And it's like some people say, "Oh, I want to be a movie star." Why don't you just be a movie actor?
Right.
And a working actor. Boy.
Your first movie was Which Way to the Front?
Oh, yeah. It rained so hard for 2 straight weeks You couldn't shoot a scene, and that picture ended up being a disaster. But it was wonderful working for Jerry Lewis. And here I am,
Yeah.
a young guy and a new actor. And he was nice to me. A lot of people didn't like him. I liked him. He was very professional, very nice to me. And I've always argued with people, defended him. They said, "Oh, he was a bleep." No, he wasn't. Maybe you think that.
Yeah.
And so, unfortunately, with the editing and whatnot, it really got messed up. But he was great working for him. You had to use discipline because he was funny.
Yeah. I heard.
I played an SS Nazi.
Yeah, he said.
Whoever came up with that wardrobe for those Nazis was very, very effective. Because people would see that black outfit, and those people were demon-possessed evil.
Yeah. He said he quit making movies for 10 years because this movie was on a double bill with Deep Throat, and he didn't like the way the distribution of films were, in the 70s.
Yeah. Yeah, but I was really stoked to work for him.
I can imagine. How did Game of Death come about for you?
Well, I got cast in Black Belt Jones.
Right.
And what I did, I didn't know the director, Robert Klaus, and I eventually did four major movies for him. And I came in a gangster hat, gangster suit, and I read with it. There were like 3 pages. And I was a good cold reader going in. I didn't panic or anxiety or whatever. And the last line it said, "Look at him, he's sweating just like a pig." And I thought I'd do something that the other actors probably wouldn't do. So I said, "Look at him." And I grabbed him by his shirt and pulled, "He's sweating just like a pig." And I spit on him.
Yeah.
And I said, "Pig." "Oh, man." And he said, "Okay, thank you. That was very good." And I beat myself up all the way home. And by the time I pulled my driveway in my home in Gilgo Park, the phone rang. I ran in, and it was Oscar Williams. He wrote the script, and he was cast, and he's laughing. He said, "Man, he loved you. You got the part." So that was really great. It's a Warner Brothers major movie. It was the third biggest money maker there. And so the first day of shooting, I did well. And I had a gangster suit, gangster hat. My name was Blue Eyes, a hitman.
Yeah.
The next day, the assistant director says, "The producer and director want to see you, Mel." I said, "Why?" "I don't know, but they want to see you right away." And so when I went in to see them, Fred Weintraub was the producer.
Right.
Robert Clark. And I said, "Did I do something wrong?" They said, "No, you did everything right, but your crime partner can't handle dialogue, so we want to know if we can give you the dialogue that he can't handle." I said, "Give me all the dialogue you want." And I ended up with an incredible role. 2/3 through the movie, Robert Klaus came to me and said, "I'm going to take you to Hong Kong to play Stick the Assassin in Bruce Lee's Game of Death." I knew every villain in Hollywood wanted to play that role, and he cast me. And the producer, Raymond Chow, and the executive producer, and Andre Morgan, they wanted a big name. They didn't want me. And Klaus says, "No, I know what he can do. I want it for this." Besides, you had Gig Young, who won the Academy Award, Dean Jagger, Academy Award nominee, and 2/3 through that movie, Raymond Chow and Audrey Morgan came on the set. And they said, we came to shake your hand and tell you we were wrong. You're perfect for this character. And that role as being Stick has done so much for me all through my life and career. And most everybody has seen it. And I'm doing a Christian show every Wednesday at 7 o'clock Eastern and 4 o'clock Pacific. And the producer there said, I got the name for your show, Stick with Jesus. He had to put Stick the Assassin because he was enamored by that role. And it was a fun role. That fight I did at the end when he killed me was from 8 at night till 8 in the morning. Long, and the rain. So
did you have any interest or training in martial arts before that?
Yeah, Black Belt Jones. I started hanging out with the Sun People and Pat Johnson. You know, he taught Steve Mcqueen and other people. And he gave me lessons and Sonny Barnes, and there's several. I learned. I was a quick learner because I was an athlete. And so by the time I got there for the Game of Death, the director said I was supposed to do a martial arts fight with him. And 2 days before the shooting, that big scene, he says, oh, you know what? I was thinking about it, Stick. I want you to be a street fighter. I said, thanks a lot, Bob. I had all these world-class martial artists kicking my ass when I was rehearsing. But it worked out. It worked out. And John Barry's song that he wrote for that fight was incredible.
Yeah. How was working with Bruce Lee?
I like Bruce. I met him on the Green Hornet. He was like staring at me, and I said, what? You got a villain's face. I knew that. And then little did I know that I'd be doing his last movie playing the villain.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was a perfectionist. There is no other like him. There's so many who try to be like him, and
of course
they don't make it. And then Brandon, he got killed on a set of The Crow, which I knew him because they had up at Paramount, they had a big, 5 years after Bruce had died, they had like a ceremony and whatnot. And I met Brandon when he was 15 and his sister, she was 12. And Linda, his wife. So, a lot of tragedy there.
A lot of tragedy, but God had a plan for both of them.
Yeah. Yeah, but it was, I was in Hong Kong 7 weeks. And boy, now all hell is breaking loose over in Hong Kong for the past year. It's just brutal. And when I was there, it was wonderful. I couldn't ask for I tell you, my per diem was so good. I never even had to touch my check, my weekly check. So, it was an incredible experience. Bruce Lee's last movie.
Yeah.
Stick.
And then you and Robert Klaus worked together again on The Ultimate Warrior with Yul Brynner. How was he?
Yeah. I really liked it. I got along really good with him. He was like from the old school movie star.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to treat him like a movie star. But he was really good with me. I did the fight at the end where he killed me. Klaus had fired this stuntman who was supposed to do it. But he was blonde. He looked too angelic. He says, Mel, can you do this? Oh, yeah, I can do that, Bob. So my part even got bigger. Then the stunt coordinator said, Mel, do you know how far you're going to fall? I said, yeah, 6'2". He says, no, you're going to fall 12 feet 2 inches. What do you mean? You're 6'2", and you're going to fall 6 feet. So it's from your head down. And I had a lit torch, and then I had to go through 2-inch balsa wood. It was 2 by 2 foot square with a little pebble as my mark. You go in head first and turn, and you fall another 6 feet where there's concrete with the lit torch. And so you got to get it right the first time because they would have lost a lot of time. So Klaus came to me, don't screw this up, Mel. I didn't need it. I said, thanks a lot, Bob. And they came out absolutely perfect. I did it, and Neil Brenner was up there going, bravo, bravo. Because I had to go first do the fight with him, then he stabs me, and then I fall head first down into that. Oh, boy. Oh, then afterwards, he says to me, do you have any problem with rats? I said, I don't like rats. Oh, no. They put sunflower seeds and peanut butter all over me. And then this lady who owned these rats, there were 30 of them, they dumped them on me. So when the camera started rolling, it looked like they were eating me, but they were eating the sunflower seeds and peanut butter. Yeah, that was...
That's crazy. And then...
I don't do snakes.
Yeah, me neither.
There was a movie... At that time, I would go read. And 5 times I went to the Star Roll. It was all about this killer who would use his snakes to assassinate people. Well, I didn't know that you're going to have an intimate relationship with these snakes, because I hate snakes. So the director producer, they congratulated me. I had the Star Roll. Why don't you go get a couple of snakes, let them hang on you and play with them, and in the picture you kiss them. And I thought, I'm not going to do that. And I said to them, I'm so sorry. I can't do this. I hate snakes. And this guy loves them, and they kill for him. And, they were ticked at me because, I was there 5 times reading, and I got the main Star Roll. I wasn't going to do no snakes.
Wow. Yeah.
I said, that snake over there, that's a poison snake. Oh, we got his teeth, or his rubber band. I said, rubber bands break. Anyway.
That's crazy.
Oh.
Then you worked with Steve McQueen in one of his last movies, Tom Horn.
Yeah. Steve really liked me because he's, as a juvenile, he spent some time in the juvenile jail. And he knew that I had a Skid Row prison ministry. He liked me because I wasn't Hollywood. He didn't take any crap from anybody in Hollywood. he was his own man. He was Mr. Cool. And I really, really liked him. And he had told me when I worked on Tom Horn, he wanted me to play the sheriff.
Yeah.
The director had Billy Green Bush play the sheriff, who worked with him in Electric Eye Blue. And Steve just, I like Mel Novak to play a role. And the director wouldn't budge. But 2 weeks, after 2 weeks of shooting, Steve fired that director. Mm-hmm. And I contacted him. And same producer who was on Blackbell Jones, Fred Weintraub, said, he's been established too much. And Steve says, sorry, but you'll work with him in any picture he does. Well, I guess it was 4 or 5 weeks later, I get a phone call. It was Fred Weintraub. Steve just fired 3 actors. They couldn't handle dialogue. And he said for me to call you. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Your plane leaves at 6 from LAX. I says, well, when am I going to get the script? Oh, when you come. Got there. Well, you'll get it in the morning. I said, I don't like this. If these other people couldn't handle the dialogue, I don't want to ruin this, whatever friendship I have with them. Mm-hmm. So the next day, I had the script. It was a bus ride to old Tucson where they did shooting, and I'm studying it. After the hour's over, now I'm in wardrobe, and someone comes in. Who's Mel Novak? Me. Why? Steve and the new director wants you to play this other role, which is a better role. And they said, hurry up, we're going to start shooting. Oh, man, are you kidding me? So we did a reading out in the street with the script. Mm-hmm. And John Alonzo, who directed other things, he was the cinematographer. He said, well, that's really good. That's what Steve wants. I said, John, I just got this. They just change characters on me. Mm-hmm. He said, well, you better hope for lunch or something. And I prayed. I said, Lord, help me out here. And they said, you know what, let's wait for after lunch we'll start this. I didn't even eat. I went in my dressing room and I worked. And Steve liked what I did. He told me, and he says, we'll work together for sure. He said, I love having you here. And then he had this cancer that was horrible. When he coughed, he would give you chills. And I led him in a salvation prayer, and I used to encourage him with scripture. But when that cough would come up, it was horrible. So,
wow,
that's how that took place.
The first time I can remember seeing you was in An Eye for an Eye.
Oh, yeah. Up in San Francisco, we did that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know that big Asian wrestler?
Oh,
that was choking me?
Yes.
Yeah, I forget his name. And it was his first movie. And we did all the scenes in the car. He grabs me by the throat. And you're supposed to pretend in a way where it looks like you're getting stabbed. Mm-hmm. And he was choking me. So when the director, Steve, calls cut, I said to that big wrestler guy, what the hell are you doing? What's the matter with you? You're not supposed to choke me for real. So the director, they went over and talked to him, and he followed me around all day going, oh, I'm sorry. I said, yeah, low down. But anyway, we got that done, and I did that stunt too, which was I had to be careful, so my blades didn't go under the tires. But it was a very successful movie.
Yeah, it was on TBS and TNT a lot back in the 90s when I was a kid. And that sumo wrestler is Toro Tanaka. That's his name.
That's it. Toro, that's right.
Yeah. And weren't you originally offered to play Nikki? That's what it said on IMDb.
Yeah, and I didn't want to play that guy. Was so flamboyant. And I just said no, thank you. I was there with Frank Capra, the producer, and Steve. What's his name? Steve, the director.
Steve Carver.
Carver.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, no, I'm not playing that. No, forget it. And I got up to leave, and he says, well, why aren't you going to play that? I said, because someone would think in real life I'm like that, and I don't. I play macho guys. And I said, listen, I packaged this movie. You wouldn't even have a job if it wasn't for me. So y'all want to screw me, that's it. Now I started to leave because I was angry.
Mm-hmm.
Then he says, well, just a minute now. Just take a seat. They went in the other room and talked. They came out, and I had the character that I played.
Mm-hmm.
The casting director, she's like smiling. I said, what? She says, you're really bold. She says, I'm a new Christian. and you're bold. I said, I don't need people's approval. Act 529. But I have to watch my career, and one role could change that. So that was that.
Yeah, Stuart Pankin ended up playing Nicky. I've had him on the show. He's a great guy. How about Lovely But Deadly?
I really enjoyed that. David Sheldon directed. His wife was one of the writers, Joan, and it was a fun role. In fact, the guy that was in there playing, he just passed away.
Richard Hurd. I talked to him.
Yeah.
I talked to him 2 weeks before he died, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yes.
And then he also had, he's like a giant dwarf.
Mm-hmm.
He passed away last year. Oh, darn, I can't remember.
I'll look him up. And you also had the legendary Marie Windsor in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, how was she?
She was nice, yeah. Very nice. And the gal who played Lovely, she passed away. She's had to be in her late 20s. I don't know what happened.
Lucinda Dooling, yeah.
Yeah, and the gal who was supposed to play her, some named actress, was in a series. They wouldn't let her out. So right at the last minute, the same director. So the agent, and he says, my wife could do this. So she met with him, and they had to start shooting. So it was nice. I enjoyed working with her.
Mm-hmm. That's sad. Yeah, I wish I could have interviewed her. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't know about tomorrow's, but I'm trying to remember that name of it.
Erwin Keys.
Erwin. Yeah.
That was.
Erwin. He was telling everybody that set. He was playing racquetball, so, and I know he can't move. He was like a giant dwarf.
Yeah.
So he said, I'm going to kick Mel Novak's ass playing racquetball. But he didn't know I was a very good racquetball player, and I don't brag about stuff. So I said, Irvin, you don't want to play me. And he's telling us, see, he won't play me. So I said, okay. So the next time we both had a time off, went to a racquetball court.
Mm-hmm.
He said, I'm even going to let you serve. And I hit a rocket, went by, and he goes, wow, I never saw that before. I beat him 3 straight games. He didn't get 1 point. And I thought I should have let him get a couple points. That wasn't nice, but I had to teach him a little lesson. So the next day we went on a set. Never, I said, well, Irwin, did you whip Mel?
Mm-hmm.
He says, no, I didn't know the people played that good. He's a super nice guy.
Yeah. You started a horror movie called Force of Darkness.
Yeah, Force of Darkness was really it's a wonderful movie. It was released by was it not Canon? You see who released that?
Yeah.
I play like 2 characters in one. I was like
GTM Studios.
do what?
GTM.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I played a demon-possessed guy, and I remember we were in this, down in Torrance, in this garage, and this psychiatrist in a scene before had mentioned my father, and I just really went wild. And I said, you don't mention my father. So next scene, the psychiatrist and his girlfriend are in the car. And right before, there were so many people watching. They were getting autographs, taking pictures with me. And I went insane in that scene, breaking windows and pulling them out. After that, none of the people came over to say anything. They got spooked. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. How did you get to be in a couple Gary Marshall movies, Exit to Eden and Dear God?
Yeah, he knew that I mostly played villains.
Mm-hmm.
And the first one, Dear God, he knew I had a Skid Row prison ministry.
Mm-hmm.
So he needed an actor that could improv, and I had like 4 pages of dialogue, and the people are on the street, and I'm talking to them, and everything goes like that. And I didn't want to do it because it wasn't a big part, but it was a major movie with a major actors.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, well, how many days? Well, I don't know if I could. I'm down Skid Row all the time.
Yeah.
And I said, thank Gary very much. So then the guy calls back again. He said, Gary would take it as a personal favor if you did this role. He said, it's very important. So I didn't want to screw it up. And then I said, well, give me the dialogue, because there's certain things I won't do or I won't say. Like I never use God's name in vain, because I had 10 throat surgeries in 10 years,
Mm-hmm.
from 18 to 28. And called me back. Gary says, take out what you want, put in what you want. And then I still have the letter. He usually shot, it had for like 30 minutes more what was needed. And a lot of my stuff got cut out. But it led to that part with Dan Aykroyd and
Rosie O'Donnell.
Rosie. Yeah. So that was a big movie, and it didn't do what they thought it would do, but it was still a major movie. It was a major director.
Mm-hmm, certainly.
Yeah.
And everybody I've talked to said they loved Gary Marshall.
Oh, yeah. He's a super, super guy. I would help him. He played softball in the Actors League,
mm-hmm.
and I would help him in his hitting. And we played, he played on another team, and not the team that I was on.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember one time I could hit it where I wanted, the left field or right field, and I hit a bullet just went right by his head. And he says, "Man, I didn't even see that." And I said, "I'm glad it didn't hit you." So.
So what made you get into the ministry?
Oh, I've been in ministry 38 years on Skid Row. I came to the Indian Rescue Mission. They found out I was a Christian, and they invited me for actually it was 38 years ago this past Easter. For the sunrise service. And by then I had a lot of surgeries and things that happened. And I was an overcomer through my faith.
Mm-hmm.
And the CEO was watching me with the street people. I had about 25 of them.
Mm-hmm.
And they were hanging on every word, every scripture. So he said to me, "You got to do a service here." I said, "Sure." And the LA mission heard, and why don't we do it there? The Fred Jordan mission, the Long Beach Rescue Mission. And then here's another story about Stick. And an inmate who just got out of LA County Jail came to the Union Rescue Mission as in their spiritual growth program.
Mm-hmm.
And the chaplain, Mark Monsiel, was a huge Bruce Lee fan. So he called Mark and said, "You're not going to believe this. Stick, the assassin from Bruce Lee's Game of Death, is a preacher down here." That's how I started in the prison ministries. I've been all over the country in prisons. The worst ones you could even imagine.
Mm-hmm.
In San Quentin, been at Pelican Bay 12 times. We have more people incarcerated than 10 other countries put together.
Yeah.
LA County Jail is the worst jail in the world, the biggest jail in the world. It's the violence. And I always had to sign a paper if I'm taking hostage. They don't make deals.
Yeah.
So it turned out that I was doing so much ministry. So when I wasn't working in films, I was doing ministry.
Mm-hmm. Have the churches ever given you any flack for making such violent movies?
Well, you hear it sometimes. You hear it. They don't know what I do and where I go. Most people won't go where I go because it's very violent, and you have to sign a paper if you're taking hostage. They don't make deals.
Mm-hmm.
And the people on Skid Row love me. And they're broken people. Yeah, a lot of them are hooked on drugs and alcohol. We don't know what they had to go through. Our family structure in our country is almost nil. And so they just won't go near Skid Row. And I've been there for a long time.
Mm-hmm. So you mentioned the other day that you've got some films that you've worked on. Anything you can mention?
Yeah, Harley Whalen in Detroit. I did I played a different kind of character because he saw something in me where I just wasn't a villain. And then the other one, the same way. I didn't play a villain, Ash and Bone. So those were very good films. Dustin Hoffman.
Mm-hmm.
I've done 4 films for him.
Wow.
There's a lot of real good horror movies, and they just kept, a lot of things that I did. Did a major film called Checkpoint. I really liked working with. He usually played villains, and I noticed that he just turned 70, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Forsythe.
Oh yeah, William Forsythe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super excellent actor and nice, really nice guy. I was blessed to work with a lot of good people. Max von Sydow, Yul Brynner, Steve McQueen.
Chuck Norris.
Yeah, just I came from a little town. We didn't even have a red light. And like I say, I did not come here to be an actor or a minister. Did not.
Mm-hmm.
God had a plan, and it's very tough in this industry.
Yeah, very tough.
And I've been able to work with some really wonderful people, and I never did drugs or drank, so
Good.
I'm always on time. I know I do background biography on my characters, and they like that. I did Tales of Frankenstein, which is a fun movie. I played an insane scientist. I took this detective's brain, I implanted it in my pet gorilla named Gargantus. So those are fun things. Tons of dialogue.
Yeah.
Hobo woman.
I saw that you were booked for the Hollywood show, which ended up not happening, and I was so disappointed. I wanted to go so bad this year.
Yeah, there's one coming up, I think in September, though.
August, actually.
August?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I hope that's going to be okay, because the lady wants me to come there.
Yeah, I have another guest who's booked for that. She wants me to come meet her and stuff. So if I do go out there and stuff, I'll let you know. That'd be great to meet you.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yes.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, Mel, this has been such an honor. Thank you so much for taking the time today.
Oh, my pleasure. Any time.
Absolutely. God bless you and stay safe in this crazy world.
Thank you, and you too. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, there you have it. Mel Novak. Ain't he a cool dude? Oh, what a wonderful man. And he's doing God's work. He really is. If you like this video, everyone, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Add me as a friend on Facebook. Join my Tommy Kovac comedian page on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram and all that fun stuff. Well, that's all time we have this week on Splat from the Past. Until next time, this is Tommy Throwback Kovac saying, there's no shame in living in the past, because the present sucks. Later, dudes.